Welcome. Um, I want to just talk about the energy that we're moving through and some of the vibe shifts that have been going on, and what else has been coming up for us to um, acknowledge and heal from and clear may have and may still be in a blind spot. I know it was for me, until it was brought to my awareness. So I'm going to just give it a few seconds to see who's coming onto the chat. And let me just kind of clear my thoughts here, because the title that I titled this live stream, expectations and reality. And I wrote some things down during the course of just yesterday into today, having just epiphany after epiphany after epiphany, and really feeling my heart lifted wide open and able to receive my own personal healing and clearing, and able to receive clear messages. And so one of the first things that I found to be really profound was that this kept coming up through multiple channels, was to be aware of, acknowledge this hidden grief of expectations. And this goes throughout humanity and the collective. We've all had certain expectations either embedded or implanted within us, or just our dreams and desires through childhood on up, that never seem to come to life. One of the most profound things I heard recently came from Dr. Zach Bush, and it was just it really hit home with what I was experiencing. And he says that the human heart is unbreakable. Heartbreak, what we consider to be heartbreak. Hello from Scotland. Scotland. Hello. The human heart is powerful, and it is unbreakable. Amongst all of the tragedies that we witness in our personal lives and in the collective life, the one thing that is unshakable and unbreakable is the human heart. What it is that we feel when we feel heartbreak is really the shattering of expectations. That is the cause of the pain within us, believing in a false narrative or a false reality. Hi, Jess. Thank you for being here. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. So I found that to be profoundly tied in with just streams of messages that I was receiving. And I know if I'm having these experiences, I'm not the only one, but it was just flashes of the past, flashes of different relationship dynamics, and just things that never really worked out the way that I thought they would. And to come to a place of pure forgiveness. And I have been able to come to a place of pure forgiveness. However, I was then asked to look deeper into the forgiveness just of the expectations that I've carried, not only myself, but generations and generations. And so one other thing that I wrote that I just want to share really quickly comes from it's actually a ceremony, a coded ceremony from a channel called The Template. And it says, we are not separate. We're not separate from source. Hi, Amy. We're not separate from nature. That separation comes through, it comes through not being able to forgive what was not love. And it says, feel yourself opening to the fundamental beginnings of healing, forgiveness. Forgiveness is a forward movement. Without forgiveness, you run into the stagnant waters of judgment and denial. Forgiveness is you cooperating with the evolution of your soul, the impeccability of creation. Forgiveness is knowing there is nothing to forgive. Before the first breath, before the first heartbeat, there is choice. And that is just speaking of we choosing the mothers and the fathers, and that's where the beginning stages of the forgiveness ceremony start. So it's definitely something, and then our sisters, our brothers, and thanking for the gift of reflection. This is a time, we are in this passageway into the eclipse, and this is a time for so many of us, all of us really, to really level up. And when I say level up, it is full accountability of what energies we are still carrying within us, what energies we are reflecting, what ripples are reflecting from us. And we're going through a lot of really deep passages to bring to the surface all that has not been forgiven, as well as our fears and doubts and concerns. And so we've definitely been going into some deep, deep stuff, but that is to help us, because on the flip side, on the flip side, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the comments here. Thank you, moderators, by the way. I appreciate you all. We're going to keep the chat clean, and if you don't have anything positive or healthy to share, I ask you to not. Okay. So let me just clear that energy away right off the bat. And send forgiveness, right? I think that is the path that each and every one of us chose, so that we can let go of that weight. And I certainly have felt that weight today. I know today we are experiencing some difficult astrological aspects, and it will be short-lived. Most of it is being aspect by the moon, and the moon moves quickly. But we've got a lot of Pluto death and rebirth energy being activated very heavily within us too. So it's definitely been enlightening. And from my own experience, it has been, from one end of the spectrum, complete bliss and oneness, and on the other end of the spectrum, feeling the heaviness and the pulls, the energy pulls that pull me back into myself to see what else is going on. What else can we conjure up to release and let go of? Coming into the first eclipse pass will be a full moon in Pisces, lunar eclipse. And there's a lot of depth with that energy. It's extremely spiritual. Thank you guys for checking through the content. Let me see Amy, yes, I grew up in a Jehovah Witness household, always felt judged, misunderstood, and like an outsider. I don't remember learning how to forgive while in that organization. Yeah. And then we have to realize that those people are on their own journey to discovery. And that's the hardest things to forgive are coming up right now to forgive, because that really truly it lightens the load tremendously, and it opens up the heart to really connect to the stream of energy that we're really designed and meant to work with. And it's been showing itself to me over and over again where I'm at. And so if I need to practice a pause and really check with myself, I do. Mercury was squaring my natal sun for a while there. Finally moved into a sextile and things feel a little easier. Good. Hi, Darren. Yeah, what I recognized and realized, because I really was riding on a high, playing with my grandchildren and traveling and getting the last bits of summer in. It wasn't until Sunday that everything shifted for me, and I had to take a good look at whatever I hadn't really fully dove deep into. And truly, it was this expectation that, and I know I've talked about this before, but this is really important also, seeing ourselves in that trinity that's very powerful throughout all of humans, of perpetrator, victim, and savior. And this is another thing that I heard Zach Bush say that really it hit some bells and whistles inside of me, was it is that if it was just perpetrator and victim, it would eventually dissolve itself out. But because the savior is that energy that keeps flipping the coin, it perpetuates that energy of victim, perpetrator, comes the savior. So, and I was asked to very deeply look at all of the times and the versions of me that have played each and every part, each and every role, because every single human has. We all have, to some degree. And when we can step out of those roles completely and become the polarity to that, is when we are no longer, when there's going to be another tipping point collectively. And it doesn't take that many of us. But that's where I'm saying, like, we're really being asked to level up in a big way. So, hi everybody. How is everybody? How are you guys doing? Does anybody want to share? We're definitely in a new energy. Okay. We're definitely in a new reality. Oh, the Atlas. So last weekend I had the most enchanting, mystical, magical evening with one of my best friends from high school, and we were out at this beautiful fountain show, and there was a skywriter that was writing, that drew a smiley face, and that was like her little symbol. Like, there were synchronicities the whole time. It was a blast. And then we're staring at the sky, and she's like, "What's that?" And she kept saying, "It's a planet." and I was like, it's not a planet. We both had our Skyview apps out trying to figure out what it was. It was in the Scorpio constellation, and nothing was really coming up that would have shown this brightness. And lo and behold, the next morning when I woke up, I was like, it's that Atlas. You know, I don't think that it is what most people think it is, as far as it being a comet. But it's definitely something that has attention, and we have our eyes on it. And it was speaking to me in such a way that it reminded me of when I was younger and I had experiences with the stars. And of course, we have all of these meteor showers and stuff. We saw shooting stars that night too. I felt really good when I was looking at it. Almost like, yeah, the ancestors on the other side, so to speak, our family, our cosmic family, they're smiling down. They're watching down on us. But it's good. Interesting times, truly interesting times. And there will be some that will be heavily challenged, and there will be others that are going to completely flip out of that old trinity. If you can get out of perpetrator, victim, savior, like that pattern within self, and sometimes the universe will really plop us out of it too. If any of you have had like a life review before you've died and you've seen all these flashes of yourself and you completely see yourself in a new perspective, that's happening a lot too. Comets have many times been a symbol of awakenings on Earth. I hope we are ready as a whole. Darren says, not bad, thanks. No more anger. That's good. No more anger. It's a good thing to let go of. Because I didn't even realize how much anger I had stored in me, but it's a powerful force, but it can take you down. Eventually it'll take you down. I truly feel that there are more people ready than we are aware of. Don't let it fool you. I give full, like, I'm so open to the collective really being ready for what is to really truly shift. But there's a lot of signs and symbols in the sky for sure. All right, Spirit, what's your message for us, please? Yeah, the messages I've been receiving from the skies, and there's been a lot, have been nothing but reassuring and loving. Everything is kind of almost played out as far as past life stuff, Atlantis stuff. I mean, we're still, the script is still turning, but many of us have done enough work to be released from past life karma. Knight of Emotions. All right. Okay.